places. All right, wait a minute. I might have ran in here in a rush and left my agua. Ah, that's okay. I got ice cold, tasty Gatorade, and I'm not promoting Gatorade, just letting you know. All right, scram dogs, scram. Got the dogs in here wandering around. Can't have that. Anyway, what's going on, America? Kev from Kevin's Corner. Trying to make some sense out of all this nonsense that's going on around the country, man. And it's getting out of control. Hard to keep up with all this nonsense. But I'm going to do my best. So, welcome to the show. If you are just joining my show for the very first time, please hit that like button, share my videos, follow me on all the other social media platforms, and so on and so forth. Now, this number you see behind me, yeah, if you can and you would like to stay in touch with me, just in case the man starts acting a fool, all you got to do is text MAGA to that number, and that's 330-974-4607. And just text MAGA, and I will confirm at some point that you are in my corner, and so is something in my eye. Got something in my eyeball. Blow, blow. Remember when you was a kid and you get something in your eyeball, and your mama blow it out? Yeah, man. Yeah, that psychological effect your mama had on you was amazing. She had kissed something that was all jacked up. Come in, arm mangled. Come here, let me kiss it. You feel better? Yeah, I guess. I think so. No, and it don't. Because that mama magic make you think it feels better. So anyway, hit the like button, share my videos. And also, guys, I think this is the last day to support my little monthly fundraiser. If you want to hit a last minute buzzer beater to support and offset all of the stupidity that goes on online, please do so. All right. I mean, I ain't gonna block you. I'm giving you the shot. Go ahead, take the shot. Somebody said, love your show. Keep up the good work. Thank you so much. And, with the grace of God, I plan on doing just that. So, guys, with no further ado, let's go ahead and get busy. But I got to get loose first, though. Let's see. Delicious. What? Like a real gorilla. Real gorilla. Real gorilla. There's some kings in the building. Throw your fist up and show some respect. Gorillas in here. Gorillas in here. Now, last night we were talking about what's going on in Israel. And of course, you can look at this from two perspectives. You can look at it from just a regular American citizen that wants to be informed on foreign affairs and what's going on around the globe, because that can impact you. See, so many Americans just vote based on what they see right in front of their eyes. When you are voting, you got to be well-rounded. You got to look at all of the issues and how these folks can impact your life. See, because I even look at it like this. If I'm voting for somebody who don't take national security seriously, it don't matter what happens on the inside of the country if we are open to invasion from the outside. You ain't got no time to be worried about your job and all of that stupid stuff. You ain't got no time to be worried about that. If you got to worry about folks sliding into the border, possibly going crazy and doing something stupid, or you got to worry about China, you got to worry about all of these issues. You don't have time to worry about all of the stuff that, you normally could just rest and relax and focus on if you had a leader that was interested and serious about making sure that the homeland is secure. And the way you can tell is how that leader approaches foreign policies, how strong they appear to be, how other countries respect them, what's their agenda, and so on and so forth. So it is important to, know what's going on around the globe. So you're just a citizen that's interested in that, get something out of it. But then also, if you happen to be a Christian, you definitely should be paying attention to what's going on over there in Israel, what's going on over there with Palestine, what's going over there with Iran, and all of that stuff. Now, you shouldn't be shocked that the Palestinians and the Israelis are scrapping, because the Palestinians are the modern day Philistines. There you go. So they've been scrapping for a long time. Y'all remember David when he went up against Goliath and he said, "Who is this uncircumcised Philistine?" And he took that rock and went to swinging it and right between the eyes. Y'all remember that? Well, that beef is still going on to this day. So we're not shocked, but we do need to pay very, very close attention, because you got to wonder, is this going to escalate, or is this just rumors of war? Signs and rumors of war. Do we need to just go, oh God, this might be the big one? Or is this a warm up? Is this a pregame to the big one? So we're going to try to unflush some of that. And I just saw somebody from the UK in the house. What's happening all the way from England? So with that being said, I think, as I just mentioned a few seconds ago, even though we should be, concerned about what's going on over there in Israel, but we need to stop for a second and check in and see what our leaders are doing to keep us safe. For the simple fact, I heard there was rumors out there, like, how in the world did Israel miss this with all the intelligence from them and the U.S.? Well, I could see how the U.S. would have missed it, because we're more focused on doing stupid stuff. We're more focused on bringing in illegal immigrants. Somebody said I'm buffering. Am I buffering? Give me a second. Just making sure it ain't just you, George. Anybody else on YouTube think I'm buffering? Real quick. Anybody? Going once, going twice. Somebody said, yes, I am buffering. Then I got to know. See, that this is where we, yes. Oh, wait. Oh, I see you fine. Just now. Okay. So if I am buffering, just reset. If I'm not buffering, let's keep the party moving. So now, with that being said, when it comes down to the whole attack on Israel, a lot of people are wondering if Israel and the United States got the best intel. How did they miss that? And like I said, Israel, I don't know, but I can see how the U.S. could have missed it, because we're sleeping. We're asleep at the wheel. And to prove it, check this new report out, y'all. Yeah, man. Somebody said big time, last show too. What? Wait a minute. Somebody said last show I was buffering too. Hold on now. Let's see. See what we can do about that. Get the Wi-Fi to the network. See how that works. And then if that don't clear up, then I'm gonna bring back the Wi-Fi. See, sometimes you got to go in and out. You go network Wi-Fi. Keep YouTube and keep the internets off balance. Never know. All right. So now, am I clearing up over here on YouTube? Everybody okay? Do I get the okie dokie? Huh? Going once, going twice. Because what I am going to do in a second, and I'm going to switch back over to the network and save my data. Okay, that's what I'm going to do in a second. All right. Somebody said it's blurry, Kev. All right. That means it's working. So now what I'm going to do is switch right back over to the Wi-Fi and watch this. Watch this. I switch back to the Wi-Fi. Watch it clear up. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bam! Am I clear? Let's roll. Oh, yeah. So now, look at what our own government is doing, y'all, to keep us safe. Look at this, guys. They're throwing a party down there at the border. Check that out. Wait a minute. Wait, these are people that weren't invited. What's going on down there at that border? I don't know. I mean, were they on the guest list? Were these people on the guest list? Because the Biden administration apparently is throwing a party down there at the border, but I don't know. I don't see a lot of Americans in this group. Why wasn't I invited? The party wasn't for us Americans? Let's find out what's going on down there, because I would hate to think that with all this stuff that's going on around the globe, we are getting caught slipping on our own border. And who knows, we might get busted up too, because we're too focused on throwing parties at the border for other folks instead of looking out for the Americans. So let's see what's going on with this party. Wow. Lots of guests. Lots of guests.
For over 2 years now, Border Patrol agents have been telling us they've got extreme concerns about who is crossing our southern border, primarily because so many agents have been pulled off the front lines to instead focus on processing. And that then leaves gaps in our border where we simply have nobody out on patrol.
Well, that's not good. That's not good. Okay, so we got the real folks down there on the border. The Border Patrol is down there saying, hey, man, I'm concerned. We ain't talking about Mucus, who's up there in Washington. That the people, good men and women on the border is really putting. No, we're not talking about these people. We're not talking about people who don't have hands-on experience. We're not talking about politicians and stuff. We're talking about real Border Patrol agents are saying they're concerned about our national security. National security. Now, I'm just thinking out loud. A government that does not protect its people should not be in power. If for whatever reason you're not willing to go to the extreme, if you're not willing to do absolutely everything you have to do to keep your people safe, you don't deserve that office. You don't deserve it. If your priorities are to bring in folks from other countries at the risk of your own citizens, you should be removed from office. Possibly brought up on some charges, especially if there's a clear way to stop this. But everything you're doing is opposite of those clear ways to stop it. There you go. See, so now we got the Border Patrol saying, I'm a little concerned. Me too.
And the numbers are startling. We'll start with the terror watch list numbers. Fiscal year 2023, so far, 151 people on the FBI's terror watch list have been arrested by Border Patrol agents while they were crossing illegally here at our southern border.
150, I think he said 2 or maybe 4, I'm not sure. Folks on the terror watch list has been arrested this year so far. Why do you think that is, ladies and gentlemen? Especially considering all of the disturbances and stuff that's going on in the Middle East. You don't want nobody that you can't keep track of to slide into our country, because the same people who hate Israel probably are the same people who hate America. And if they slip into our country, God knows what they could be up to. God knows what they could be up to. But hey, you know what? It's just 150 something compared to how many when Trump was in office?
That is the highest number on record. It's also higher than the previous 6 years combined. The highest number under Trump was 6.
Wow. Now, 6 compared to 150 something. I'm a little concerned about those numbers. Those are contrast right there, you know, because see, 150 something and 6. Why do you think it was only 6 during Trump? Because he took our safety seriously. Unlike the Biden administration. You know what? Bring them all in. We don't care. If some terrorists slide in, it's worth it. We're solidifying our power. That's what they're up to. And so now all of a sudden these folks that was on the terrorist watch list feel emboldened. They like, this is our shot, y'all. We might be able to go over there and pull something tricky off because we got a weak leader and a horrific administration in power. Now, do you think this is an administration that is focusing on intel to keep its people safe?
We got 151 this year so far. Now, the Biden administration says, well, that shows they're catching more people, right?
Oh, yeah. See, that's that gaslighting. Yes, don't pay attention to the numbers. These numbers aren't what you think they are. They're trying to hit us with the Jedi. So it said, hey, look, that means we're apprehending more people. That's all. That's all that means. No, if you're smart, you'll catch that doo-doo that they're trying to sell chocolate to us with. You know, yeah, it's chocolate. No, that's doo-doo. So you're telling me because there are more people who have been apprehended on the terrorist watch list means that you're apprehending more people? Or could it mean that more people are coming? Could that mean that? I mean, I'm pretty sure that's probably what it is. But you want us to look at it on the bright side, right? Now, this guy right here is going to have to destroy that fake narrative.
Exactly. We'll talk about the gotaways. CBP sources telling us since President Biden took office, there have been well over 1.5 million known gotaways at our southern border. These
What? 1.5 million known gotaways. 1.5 million folks wandering around the interior of our country, and we don't know who they are, where they came from, what's their goal and agenda. They could be folks that are cartel members. They could be terrorists. They could be people who just want to come in here for a better life. But I would think any sovereign nation should be concerned about 1.5 million people wandering around your country and you don't know where they are. You don't know who they are. How did that happen? That's hard to miss. That's very hard to miss. 1.5 million people just go skirting into your country and you're like, I didn't see nothing. Could it be that you're more focused on bringing in all the other illegal immigrants through this new process that you done created to make it very easy for them to come in? And you done dedicated all of our resources to processing all of these people, while 1.5 million folks have come into our country. Now, God forbid something happens. I'm telling you, every single one of these people in this administration should be drugged into prison by their big fat toe. So now let's see if we can find out where these 1.5 million people are.
These are illegal immigrants who are crossing the border and are seen on cameras or sensors, but Border Patrol doesn't have the manpower to get to them, so they successfully get into the United States without capture.
Wow.
For perspective, that is a population size bigger than the city of Dallas, Texas.
You hear that? You hear that? Do you feel safe? Do you feel safe under this administration? So now, I can see why America would miss any intel, because they're not focused on national security. They're not focused on anything real. They're focused on whatever garbage, globalism. They're focused on going after Trump supporters. See, that's the intel that they're, interested in. My man Dallas sent me a little video the other day. I think it was Tim Cast or something like that. Tim Pool or Tim, I forget his last name. But he was showing how they reported that the FBI have a concern about all of these MAGA folks that support Trump. They support Trump. So now you might pop up on a watch list if you are on the line like, you know what, I stand with Trump. All right, we got another one, Johnson. It just popped up on our database. Yes. Yeah. We'll send the boys out for him. That's right. So now we got to worry about that. That's the intel they're interested in. Grandmas and stuff that walked into the Capitol and things like that. Folks that disagree with the kids going through some processes that they don't want them to go through. Stuff like that. People that might wear some Betsy Ross shoes. People who own maybe an AR. Something like that. But surely they're not worried about what's going on in Israel. They're not worried about, they do. They are very interested in what's going on in Ukraine. See, they got another motive there. But they're definitely not worried about what's going on in the United States. See, they don't care nothing about us as citizens. They care about their power. See, so God forbid one of these 1.5 million folks do something horrific. I wonder what the excuse would be on how they got into our country. What kind of gaslighting do you think they would try to drop out there to justify why they missed that? I mean, 1.5 million people
that has successfully snuck across our border and gotten into the United States without apprehension. It's enough people to fill up 16 Rose Bowls in Pasadena, California. They also got...
Why isn't Mucus being brought in to be asked about this? Excuse me, Mucus, where's the 1.5 million people the size of Dallas? Where are they at? That is exactly why we are taking things very seriously. And men and women are, how about you get your peanut head out of office? How about we go ahead and impeach your butt real quick before it gets worse? Because by the time these folks get out of office, that 1.5 million might be 2.5 million. And that's just the getaways. That's the getaways. This is ridiculous.
Some brand new internal CBP data leaked to us this morning from CBP sources. If we can pull this graphic up. This data showing that thousands of so-called special interest aliens have been arrested by Border Patrol while crossing at our southern border illegally over the last 2 years. Wow.
Special interest. Now, what do you think that fancy term means? That means these people are all from states or countries, rather, that might not think very favorably towards the United States. So let's see, we got Afghanistan, Egypt, Iran, Iraq, Jordan, Lebanon. Wait, look at that. Pakistan, Syria, Turkey. Oh, man, Yemen. All of these joints. And look at the numbers on that. Let's see here.
Special interest countries are what the federal government determines countries or conditions that favor terrorism or could potentially pose a threat to the United States. But you can see these countries, thousands from Afghanistan, more than 600 from Iran, more than
659 from Iran. Is this the same Iran that's responsible for the proxy war that's going on over there right now in Israel? Is this the same Iran that we gave billions of dollars to so they could fund their little war? Is this the same Iran that has been saying death to Israel and death to America forever? Is this that Iran? Could be talking about that one. It got to be another Iran out there somewhere. Got to be. Because you can't tell me the U.S. with all of its intel, all of its satellites, all of its drones, all of its technology, all of its military might somehow are allowing these people to come into our country from countries that have been known to hate us. I got to keep from turning green.
More than 160 from Lebanon, the home of Hezbollah. More than 500 people from Syria, the home of ISIS. More than 130 from Yemen.
From Syria? What the? Wait, that's the joint from... Wow. Home of ISIS, 538. We got Turkey, 30,000. Woo! We got some stuff I don't even... What is this? Uzbekistan. I don't know how to pronounce that. Uzbekistan? 13,000. Unbelievable. Wow. Staggering numbers. But this one is shocking. From Afghanistan. 6,386. Wow. I wonder what Mucus will say about that.
Home of the Houthi rebels. And former Border Patrol Chief Rodney Scott, who served under both President Trump and President Biden, says when Border Patrol agents encounter these people, they basically have no way of knowing who they are. Take a listen.
An open border allowing anybody to come in is a national security threat. This administration keeps wanting to talk about we're vetting people coming in. That's just simply not true.
No, wait a minute. You telling me Mucus lied to us? You telling me that little pipsqueak gets up there? We are carefully vetting. What does that mean? What does that mean? All right, step up. What country are you from? I'm from Middle East. Which one? I don't know. Don't worry about it. It's okay. So what's your business here at the border? I want to become an American citizen. I want amnesty, something like that. They told me to say something like that. Okay, that's good enough. What's your intentions here? Are you going to do anything bad? Absolutely not. Do you have any records of who you are? No, I lost them on the journey. I don't have no records. Okay, no problem. Well, you're free. You're free to enter. You look relatively honest or safe. Let me hold on for a second. Let me. Okay, I'm getting a word from on high that you're good to go. That's the what? That's the scanning of them. That's the vetting. You got to rely on a word from God, Heavenly Father. Give me some insight and discernment on all of these people coming across the border, because you don't have any real intel. How are you going to vet these people? They ain't coming with no social security numbers. You can't run a background check on them. This is unreal. So I just don't get why the Republicans have not opened up articles of impeachment. They have forsaken their duties and they have left us vulnerable as a country. When you got this amount of getaways, just running around the country, and all of these people coming from countries that have been known to produce terrorists.
We have very little information on the people across this entire globe.
And to elaborate on that point, Border Patrol sources tell us that they simply have little to zero way of vetting these people from these so-called special interest countries. I'm told unless they've got a criminal record in the United States already, or they're on some sort of federal watch list, there's no way for Border Patrol to find out about any possible criminal record. That's because these home countries that they're coming from, mostly in the Middle East, they don't share their records or their data with the United States. So
wow. Now, see, these are problems that I can solve, y'all. And I'm not even in government. See, I'm not being paid to protect the homeland. But if I could sit in my room in Kevin's corner and figure out how to stop that, you're telling me our government can't do that? You telling me mucus and all of them can't do that? The first thought that I would have if I was responsible for making sure these folks didn't come in here is how the heck did they get to South America? Why are they coming overseas to even come into our border? What makes them think that they should be coming all the way from overseas to get into our country through South America? Because see, why go through South America? If they were coming to our country legitimately, why don't they just fly into, the airport in New York? Why don't they fly into, Dallas airport? Why ain't they doing that? Why ain't they doing that, huh? So they want to go ahead and come the easy route and the route that's being exploited because of our corrupt behind politicians that are in power right now who are distracted by bringing in illegal immigrants. And unfortunately, who knows, a couple bad actors might slide in, but hey, it is what it is. It's an acceptable risk. See, so all of these people are making a full-blown journey from the Middle East to our country. Why weren't they all trying to do that under Trump? Could it be that they knew that even if they got here, they probably would be caught and turned away and waste all of their money and their time? That there would be no glory, none of that stuff. There would be no Allah Akbar if you're coming for bad intentions, none of that. Nah, you're going to be disgraced. What? He did not even make it into country? No, he don't get 12 virgins. No, didn't even blow anyone up. See, so could it be that they said, if I'm going to come to America, I'm going to do it when America's weak and distracted? See, this is unbelievable. And once again, why isn't mucus being dang on impeached?
When Border Patrol agents run their names or try to run their fingerprints, there's literally nothing there for them to compare it to. So obviously, major security concerns down here at our southern border, especially with what's happening in Israel right now, Brett.
Especially what's happening in Israel right now. So at a time when Israel is at war with Iran and Palestine, because really they pretty much at war with Iran, even though Iran, the Palestinians are acting up over Yemen. I mean, not Yemen, but Hamas. Even though, that's the case, it's really Iran. Iran's pushing all of this. They've been wanting a shot at the title for a long time. And now, during all of this crap, we got our own government that sleep at the wheel when it comes down to making, thank you. Somebody said we are screwed. You know what? Today I was thinking about it. I was contemplating. I was deep in, contemplation, thinking about, wow, we are in a mess. How in the world can we clean this up? How do we really know who's here? How can we go about finding these people? I mean, I'm amazed at how bad they let this get. This is horrible. But yet, somehow they can track down all of the people on J6. They could track them down. But we got folks, we don't even know where they're at. Somebody could be in your neighborhood right now. And God forbid something happen. Man, I'm going to tell you, we need to wake up like that. Okay, like yesterday. Our country, we need to go ahead and reset. We need to go back to the days when we actually had, well, let's go back to Trump. That's a good place to start because like they said, only 6 tried to come across under Trump. But not only is our country in trouble because we got weak leadership, but then we got folks within the country, folks within the country that hate the country, folks that are in our country that are celebrating not just a war between Palestine and Israel, but the method. And see, that right there is a problem for me. See, if you are able to rejoice over the methods that are being used in war against citizens, innocent citizens, if you're able to rejoice over that, I got a problem. That makes me question your moral compass. Even if dang on North Korea and us went to war, I would not say, hey, what we should do as a military? We should go over there and capture a whole bunch of their innocent citizens who just want to live their life and mind their business and do horrific things to them. That's right. Kill them, drag them out in front of everybody, celebrate, And then you look over here in America and all of us are celebrating. Yeah, those tactics are great. Those are great. We should never be able to celebrate when folks or whatever military decide we're going to use these dirty, inhumane war tactics because we can't fight face to face up front. So we're going to kidnap folks. We're going to go ahead, torture folks. We're going to do all of this stuff, kill kids, women, all of that. And then we come over here to the U.S. and this lets us know the real trouble we are in right about now. Look at this. Now, you know what's crazy about these protests right here I'm looking at in New York? What do you think would happen if these were all Trump supporters? What do you think would happen if they all had dang on MAGA hats on? What do you think would happen? You think the cops would just be sitting back? Do you think the news would be silent on that? We do have some protests going on out there, and there are people that are very, passionate about. Or would they be out there saying these are all domestic terrorists? These are all white nationalists. These are all radicals. These are extremists. You think that's what the media would be doing? But the media is kind of like indifferent when it comes down to this right here. So let's see. Defend Palestine. Okay. All right. So defending Palestine is different from the Palestinians going in and terrorizing innocent innocent citizens. See, that's different. Defending Palestine. What are you saying when you say that? You got your sign up there and everything. If I put a mic in your face, are you going to say, well, that means, you know what, our military can go to war with their military and we defend our right? No. See, that's not how the war was started. That's not how this was started. See, so now you guys are celebrating the way it was started. Now, maybe they don't know all the details about the slaughter of innocent citizens, but I doubt that's the case. I think they're just overlooking it. They don't care. It's by any means necessary. So when you develop that type of disdain towards humanity, not just Israel, humanity. See, I'm able to overlook horrific leaders across the globe and say, hey, these people are the source of all of this chaos right here. But that don't mean we go in and just start slaughtering a lot of innocent people who ain't got nothing to do with this and then celebrating it. But we got these folk up there having a good time. It's a lot of folks, too. A lot of folks, huh? Oh, yeah, no American flags. Yeah. Now, what's interesting, guys, is a lot of these folks are American citizens, which we're about to see. And this is where it gets interesting. As an American citizen, that you're enjoying the freedoms of America, I just don't understand how you could adopt war tactics or support war tactics that are totally anti-American. From what I know, maybe we got some stuff we do off record or whatever. But as far as I know, this is not a military strategy that we promote, support, or implement, where we say, instead of attacking a base, instead of attacking a leader or a military, let's go in and just start slaughtering their citizens. So now all of these people over here, for some reason, even though they're American citizens, they're okay with that strategy. And that's a real concern. If they're okay with that strategy, what else could they be okay with? See, what happens if American citizens are victims of this strategy, which they are? There are some American citizens over there right now that are being held hostage. Okay, look at that. Free Palestine. By doing what? Killing innocent people?
Resistance is justified! And people are occupied! Resistance is justified!
Resistance is justified. So now, what's their definition of resistance? Go over and slaughter a whole bunch of innocent people? That's it? We could say, well, if y'all really are about the resistance and it's justified, y'all could actually, and going back over there. You can go back over there and become a part of the resistance. Going back over there where rockets and stuff are flying. But hey, it's safe over here. See, talking about resistance is justified because you're not right there to see the carnage. You're not right there to see innocent women, children blown up. And the sad part about this is because Hamas chose to use that tactic, the retaliation is going to also impact their citizens that have nothing to do with this. They go over, they attack innocent citizens, then they go over and start shooting rockets right from an occupied spot. You think Israel's going to be tap dancing around that? They're going to say, you know what, let's drop a missile right in there. I don't care if schools are there. I don't care if kids are there. I don't care if mosques are there. We got to stop this attack. We have to protect our citizens first. And I wish our government had that mentality, but no, we're fighting wars all over the place. Look at this. And what method should you do that? What method should you do that? By killing innocents? I disagree. Okay, and all U.S. aid to Israel. Now, I wonder why they want to do that. Because by doing that, you leave Israel completely vulnerable. Completely vulnerable, So I'm wondering if these people are going to get labeled as traitors to the country. Because us over here, when we say in all of the aid to Ukraine, our loyalty to our country is questioned. Yeah, we might pop up on the FBI list as an extremist and a Putin sympathizer. But all these people are saying end the resources for Israel.
We have to stand together here today to make our peace.
Now, see these young kids right here? See these young kids? These black kids right there, these are all college students, probably maybe a little younger or older. They have no idea what they're participating in. They don't understand the implications of this skirmish that's taking place over there. They don't realize it. They don't even know the history of this war that's going on and how this war could escalate and get out of control so quick. So quick. They might feel like, yeah, that's right, man. I'm a part of something. And I'm fighting for justice, even though I don't live in Palestine. I'm not even from there. I'm not even from the Middle East. But I heard that bad things are going on. So I'm going to become a Democrat socialist and I'm going to get out there and support this cause that I have no idea what I am supporting. See, this is bigger than what a lot of these people think it is. Yeah, I get it. If I was Palestinian, I'd probably be like, yo, we should get our country. But from a biblical standpoint, this could really become a mess. A big mess. And eventually it will. Eventually it will. But look at all these people out there just, yeah, especially the ones that ain't never even lived in the Middle East, ain't from Palestine, none of that stuff. They just go and jump on the bandwagon for anything. No idea. No idea. Yeah, I'm a college student and I'm here. I'm looking like Kid and Play with that big box on. Kid and Play. You see Kid and Play out there? There's only one solution. Now I wonder what that solution is. They will tell you it's a one, it's a two-state solution. We should have two different separate states. However, what do you think would happen if, say, they got their way? Do you think tolerance would be, over there? You think the Palestinians would be like, now that we got our two-state solution, we're going to become loving with Israel and we're going to all live in harmony? What do you think would happen if Iran got the drop on Israel? Do you think Iran would pump the brakes and just say, hey, look, long as that land over there is occupied by the Palestinians, long as that land right there, do you think they would tolerate a place for the Jews? Do you think they would be okay with giving them a little slice of the pie somewhere? Do you think they would do that? Or do you think they would go ahead and do exactly what these folks are doing to innocent people right now? Right now. These are folks that ain't even at war. They're over there minding their business, having a party, and all of a sudden you get these terrorists that come in and just start blowing up folks and killing folks. See, so if they're doing that now, what happens if they win? What happens if Israel taps out and say, fine, we're going to go ahead and subside. Y'all won. What do y'all want us to do? Unexist? That's what you want from us? Because that's exactly what they want. And Israel knows that. And that is why Israel is going to fight to the end. There is no tolerance in this situation. I hate to tell people that. But when it comes down to it, and if it appears to become some tolerance or some peace, that's not real peace. That's peace before the storm. If you're around to see Palestine and Israel shake hands and say, here's a peace treaty, you might be seeing the beginning of the end. So here these people are talking about there's only one solution. What is that solution? Wow. Wow. And this is in the U.S. So we got a big problem here in the U.S. too, y'all. In Zionism, in all of this, free Palestine, we got folks in our government that really don't support Israel, the squad members and all of that stuff. They like this stuff. They like this stuff. So we got an internal problem here in the U.S. So not only are we messing around over there and letting folks come into our border from God knows where, but we got folks that possibly most of these people are, I'm assuming, are American citizens. American citizens. So now that is their mentality. That is their position. And hey, they're allowed to have that. But I will say this. I'm a little concerned about citizens in America that are looking at what took place over there and overlooking the carnage, overlooking the barbaric tactics that were used. And all they can see is, yay, free Palestine, by any means necessary. But you can't stop for 1 second to say, okay, even if I did want a Palestinian state, that doesn't mean that I support these folks going in and slaughtering innocent people. See, so I'm concerned about the mentality of a lot of these people who are able to overlook that and cheer this on. There's the Jews. The Jews are like, hey, man. Free Gaza. This is the U.S., y'all. We're in trouble. Now, do you think this is going to end peacefully? All of this unrest right now inside the country? You think they're all going to just say, all right, now that this is over with, we're going to go back to our home? I don't even see how this is all going to end, man. I really don't. This is a scary moment in history. We got the wrong leader in office right now. We got the weakest dude possible. And we got these two countries going to war and Iran supporting this mess. And then China secretly in the background. This is a problem. We are looking at a major issue. I wish the election was next week. We need a turnaround by next week. We need to get Biden out of here within like 2 or 3 hours from now. If we're going to somehow squash this mess, because we don't have the guy on the wheels of steel to even remotely do this. And wait until you hear his response in a few minutes, guys. My man said, go back to Gaza. A lot of people. Huh. All of that. Whole heap of people. You think, hey guys, you think the FBI got some plants in that crowd? You think so? You think maybe there's a Bigfoot in that crowd? That's right. We got to go enterprise. In Israel. I'll say it. You think you got one of those in that crowd right there? No? Oh, okay. I didn't think so. Yeah. A lot of people. And I don't think those people are okay with Israel. And then we got this as we move on. Listen to this lady. Listen to this American citizen, y'all.
I spoke to a guy before this, and we said America first. You weren't happy with that lie.
Israel would not exist without America.
So no America.
Israel would not exist without America. Now, this is an American citizen. I don't even know what she's talking about. And she don't either. Israel would not exist without America. Is there data to support that? Is there historical references that I can go to say, wow, America would not exist if it wasn't for Israel? Maybe Christianity wouldn't exist if God used the Jews to bring forth the Savior. But outside of that, what is she talking about? And then she ends with this. This is what ignorance would do for you.
First for you.
No.
Are you an American?
Yeah.
Look at that. Watch
First
that.
for you.
No.
America first. And she said no.
Before this, and he said America first. You weren't happy with that lie.
Israel would not exist without America.
So no America first for you.
No.
Are you an American?
Yes.
And you don't want to put America first?
No. Reporting.
And y'all don't think we in trouble? Now just think, this is just the Palestinians who are, hating our country. This lady right here is an American citizen. We're not even including all of the other radical leftists that also hates America. See, a lot of these people, they are religiously motivated and stuff. But then we got a whole bunch of other brainwashed young folks that have been divided because of these folks in power that are pushing all of this Marxist conflict theory. So now we got these folks, people right here, born in America. Oh, yeah, I'm an American citizen. But no, I'm not America first. And yet, I love our country enough and our laws enough to allow her to be able to say that without saying, how about we just go and grab her and take her and send her right back over there? See, that's not the American way of doing things. But see, the Democrats might think so. See, but this person is ungrateful and she's ignorant. Ignorant. Over here safe and talking about, I'm not America first. Are you an American? Yeah. But you're not America first. No. How about you just leave? Now, I'm not saying we throw you out. But I am saying, if you hate the country, how about you get on the first aerial plane smoking back to Palestine? It burns me up when I see this kind of stuff right here. So now let's get into, before we get out of here, some more details about what's going on over there and what our leadership can do and why we might just be in this little pickle.
Reporting that Iran was behind the Hamas plan to attack Israel. Congressional leaders have said that as well. Leaders from both Hamas and Hezbollah confirmed Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard had been working with the terrorist organization since August on air, land, and sea attack plans.
So Iran is not even bashful about this. Do you think they would have been nice and open if Trump was in office after what he did to Solomon Grundy? What is it? What is it that's making our enemies talk reckless to us? Could it be creepy, sleepy, and his administration? Could it be the reason why China, when Creepy got in office, and I think Blinken or somebody went over there talking to China, and they said, you no longer can talk to China from a position of power. Do you think they'd have said that under Trump? Why weren't they talking reckless under Trump? Why did Little Rocket Man stop firing off rockets when Trump was in? Why did Iran think twice when we killed Solomon Grundy and they're talking about we would retaliate? And Trump said, you go ahead and do that. See, and let one American get killed and see what happens. Did any Americans get killed? Were any of them taken hostage during Trump? No. They weren't out there talking crazy. But now, look at that. Iran's out there. Yeah, we did it. What you gonna do?
Well, look, it's just tragic. Israel is one of our closest allies, and frankly, the American people rightly have a lot of sympathy for the people of Israel, always, but especially when you see these tactics of terror. I mean, just horrific. And people are, frankly, so angry that they're not even truly grieving yet. So we should mourn with the people of Israel, but we should totally support their resolute action. And I think people are encouraged by Netanyahu's call to a long effort to eradicate this threat that has been persistent from these proxy groups, Hamas, Hezbollah, but it all goes back to Iran.
Yeah, it goes back to Iran.
The same Iran that dang on Obama. Listen, we want you to put down your nuclear program for a couple of years. And no, we're not going to do that. Oh, we'll lie to you and say we're going to do it. Make sure you give us all our money back first, and then fly a couple plane boatloads of money. This is the same Iran that we just gave billions of dollars to finance crap like this. That Iran. See, so yeah, our dumb leaders, for some reason, now all of a sudden want to honor this whole financial agreement. Well, look, they're entitled to the money. There's nothing we can do about it, even though they said death to America. We have to give it to them. They have to give it to them. How dumb is that? Huh? Deals off. That's how I would look at it. Deals off when you are supporting terrorists. You get nothing. You're on punishment. No allowance to you. But hey, we had, on my show last night, I showed you two of the folks from the Biden administration. We know they're going to still use it for terrorism, and we know they've always done it, but they're entitled to the money, and hopefully they'll use it for humanitarian reasons. And I'm saying, y'all are the dumbest, most incompetent, corrupt, evil folks ever. And now we're in a jam. Oh, jam.
And that's what we're hearing. But what is the response in your judgment, Congressman? Is there a role for Congress here? What kind of authority does the White House have in terms of moving equipment?
And see, I just saw somebody say Israel is the terrorist state. Now see, you're going to get opinions on, like, if you support Palestine, you're going to say Israel is at fault. They're the terrorist state. If you support Israel, you're going to say that. And once again, I'm able to empathize with both positions based on my natural man. Okay. The spiritual side of me is always going to side with Israel because of my religious beliefs. However, even the natural side of me, when it comes down to looking at an act of war that is going to ignite the most horrific visuals and response, when you say, let me go in and my first attack is on citizens, innocent citizens, unprovoked from what I know, just went in and boom, Iran planned this, been secretly planning this, and you go in and you do that to American citizens, it's hard to take the position that we are the victim and those folks are the terrorists. So at this point, what I am seeing is what Hamas did, and Iran backed that mess. Now, when it comes down to the spiritual side of it, I'm going to side with Israel. But I get it. Like I said, man, this stuff is deep when it comes down to what's going on in the Middle East. They all got some problems, and I could talk from both sides. I could talk from just, basic history and basic, humanity and all that stuff. But then I can also go biblical and talk about the implications of this when it comes down to Israel and Palestine. But let's continue though. Let's see what our government are suggesting should be done.
Supporting Israel from a military standpoint?
Well, you can see that quickly and rightly, the Biden administration moved the carrier group in the Middle East closer to Israel. So they're positioning to be able to provide support. And that support might mean humanitarian assistance. We have Americans trapped in Israel, and we have a clear crisis that is likely to emerge as this area of the Gaza Strip, the region of Gaza, it's about the size of Omaha and about 2 million people in it. There are people there who are innocent civilians, and Hamas is using them. So it is going to be a nasty war.
Nasty war. That's why it's so hard to fight a war where your enemy is willing to do things that are unimaginable. You ever seen the movie with Samuel Jackson called Unthinkable? Yeah. He had a point to a degree. He was like, you know what? America has become soft because they're not willing to do what is necessary to win a war. So they call in me to do the dirty work, to do the unthinkable. And so now you have, at this point, Hamas deciding, hey, we're going to fight amongst our citizens and we're going to attack your citizens. We're going to take hostages, including Americans. Now that could be a problem. If we did have a regime that says we will not tolerate y'all taking American hostages. But then we got the Bidens and all of that who spent all this money to get, I think, 6 or 7 hostages back. Remember the old days when we would drop some dudes in from a Black Hawk or something like that? And they would go in and wipe everybody out and then bring the hostages back? Whatever happened to those days? Now we just shovel out the cheese. Finance their projects and stuff like that.
By design, by just evil people. So the United States can provide some resources that way. And when Israel asks, America will certainly look at how can we support them. I think Israel is very well positioned to be able to deal with the threat. And they're clearly, the people that want to engage directly themselves.
Congressman.
And I think they are too. But what they have to be careful of is somehow public opinion. You already know. You got it. Because see, if I was Israel, I would be upset. I mean, think about how mad we were during 9/11. I wasn't thinking about, at that point, as I saw folks jumping out of the building, rather dive to their death than to burn alive. When I saw police officers running in and firefighters and the whole building just collapse, I wasn't thinking about whoever did this, we should be tiptoeing around, the people around them. All I was thinking about was we got to get these dudes, whoever it is, man. They did something so horrific. Unfortunately, if they are coward enough to hide amongst their people, they're putting their people at risk. Because I'm so mad right now, what I just witnessed, I don't got time to think about the fallout and the casualties. That's what Israel got to be careful of, because I would be upset too. Imagine an attack on American citizens and you're seeing folks' bodies being paraded around and you're seeing all of that. It's hard to not respond immediately and say, fire everything. Fire everything. And then when you do it, because the people who attacked you is hiding amongst a whole bunch of people, then they film that carnage and they say, look what they did. Hey, look at all these kids and stuff. Look at all these women. And then folks who don't realize, well, you know what? Y'all were hiding amongst them people. Yeah, public opinion. That's what you got to be worried about. So Israel is capable of doing it. They just got to figure out, all right, how far do we go? And Iran is licking their chops. They want in.
How significant is this crisis now to the upcoming debate over the next Speaker of the House?
This is good.
Does this expedite naming a new Speaker?
I think it adds to the sense of urgency. And, the reality is, thankfully, our party's united in standing with Israel. And it's disappointing that it's any point of division in our Congress. But, sadly, we saw around the country people supporting these actions and refusing to call it terrorism. They basically blame it.
And that's the problem. See, this is what I'm getting at. This is why I say we're in trouble. It's not the fact that they're supporting Hamas or they're supporting Palestine and all of that stuff. That's not the issue. You got the right to root for your home team. But when you root for your home team based on what your home team did to innocent civilians, that's a problem. The tactics that were used to launch this is so dirty, it's so foul, that even if we did something like this, I would not support it. I wouldn't be going, well, you know what we had to do. So our first launch was to go ahead and just target innocent people. I can't support that as an American. See, at some point you draw the line and you say, okay, who's really the target? Is it these folks who are just minding their business? Or is it the leaders who really want war and they're hiding behind innocent civilians? So do I just go in and slaughter those innocent civilians and cheer it on? I can't do that. I can't support the U.S. if they were to do that. And I sure enough cannot support Hamas, and I can't support the people who are cheering on this and trying to make it appear that this is just us taking back our land and all that. That's not the method you should use. How about you get in the ring and knuckle up? But hey, here it is.
It all on Israel's occupation. And, nothing justifies this. We have to come together and say these tactics of terror are completely unacceptable. We did that with chemical weapons and nuclear weapons and certain other tactics. We need to say, look, you do this, you come in and attack innocent civilians, you're taking hostages. This is a line that has to be rooted out. There can be no sanctuary for these kinds of people.
Now, he makes a good point. And see, this is why I think this is a strategy from our enemies, because they know we have rules of engagement. They know that, we'll get with other countries and say, hey, man, we can't be dropping chemicals on folks, man. You can't be using chemical warfare, man. These are things that we shouldn't do. Hey, if we're going to fight, let's all get together like the old school British, and the colonial wars. All right, everybody. All right, we'll shoot first, then we'll reload and you guys can shoot at us. It's a gentleman's war. But then you get some of the more radical countries who say, you know what, I'm going to take advantage of that. Y'all only will go so far. But we are going to do the unthinkable. We're going to do something that's going to force you to have to do the unthinkable or to honor your code of honor. We're going to put you in that position. So now, are you going to go ahead and honor all of your rules of engagement, or are you going to go ahead and fire some rockets back into our citizens trying to kill us? And this is the dilemma, and they know it. They know that this is a struggle when it comes down to Western countries and other countries. They don't want to do that for the most part. But yet, They're putting everybody in a bad position right here.
Meanwhile, we are looking at China this morning.
China?
The Communist Party calling for an immediate ceasefire after Hamas's
What
attack
they
on
got
Israel,
to do with this?
urging the parties to remain calm. China's foreign ministry saying in a statement, quote, the fundamental way out of the conflict lies in implementing the two-state solution and establishing an independent state of Palestine. The international community needs to act with greater urgency.
Now, do you see China taking advantage of this mess? You see them trying to slide in. Listen here, from China, we say that the two-party solution is... No, you ain't got to do it. Why are you even getting in this, China? See, China is like, you know what? Let me go ahead and take the role of negotiator now. Let's go ahead and implement our power that we've acquired under this weak administration. Let us be looked at as the powerful country that can dictate and negotiate and all of this stuff. And somehow their solution sides with Iran's goals and objectives as well. Now, if you switch over to your biblical mind, you'll also know that in the last days, before all of this goes down, the alliance between China, Iran, all of these countries, Syria, all of that, alliance, Russia, that alliance will be formed. Now, why is China getting into this? And what does China have to do with it? They don't even realize the two-party solution is not a solution. But here they are. Now they're getting in. They're like, hey, we got a weak leader. Joe can't get up there and negotiate nothing. Joe can't get up there talking about, listen, you guys need to stop and cut it out. Because I remember when me and Carpop was fighting, he pulled out that switchblade and I said, you might cut me, but not before I wrap this chain around your neck. That guy is not going to negotiate anything.
Writes the CCP. Gordon, interesting to see China getting involved and calling for a two-state solution. Your reaction?
Well, of course, China is going to ask both sides to exercise restraint because Hamas is engaged in this brutality. The rate is just horrific, and China won't condemn it. China won't condemn it because I believe it's supporting Hamas's attack. Remember?
And I do too. Now, this man is Chinese. See, he knows what the Chinese Communist Party is about. So now we're talking about China talking about y'all need to cut this crap out. The same China who was putting their own citizens in the crib and killing them and killing their animals and stuff like that. The ones that are abusing folks religiously over there in their country and stuff like that. And they're the ones that's trying to, all right, I'll cut it out, guys. You think their motives are sincere? No. They're putting America in a position. And they know we're already in a position of weakness. Now let's see what America gonna do. Let's see how Joe's gonna come out and say, "No, hey, listen, Chi, cut it out," because you can't say nothing to Chi Joe. You took that $1.5 billion deal.
Remember, Hamas is a proxy of Iran. Iran, in many respects, is a proxy of China. China fuels Iran. It's Chinese money that is supporting this war, and on the Hamas side. And I think we're going to find eventually Chinese arms will have been used by Hamas, although that has not yet surfaced. So,
yeah. And hey, Eagle Eye, whatever your religious beliefs is, man, I'm not here to knock your religious beliefs, or your opinions, but I will say, based on my points, based on what I'm seeing, I do have to speak on this. Now, you've been a loyal viewer and a loyal subscriber, and I appreciate that. We might disagree on this one, but when it comes down to what I've witnessed happen in this case right here, I cannot sit back and say, yeah, well, you know what? It was warranted. It is what it is. I mean, now, granted, like I said, I have no other data to even support why they would launch such a horrific attack on citizens. I just don't have that data. So it appears that these people chose to go that route. I can't support that. I cannot support that route. I don't care how frustrated they are. I don't care if they're saying this is the way we're going to take back our whatever. I can't support that. And I wouldn't support it if it was the U.S. either. I wouldn't support that. So that particular act definitely appeared to be and is an act of terrorism. But now let's get back to what this guy is saying about China. Because here's China now negotiating for Israel and Palestine.
So we are seeing China's full-on support for this. And what we should be hearing from Beijing as well as Washington is, look, that Hamas needs to pull back, it needs to stop, and it needs to be punished for this brutality.
And no doubt this is...
So instead of China saying, at least we recognize that act as an act of terrorism, Why would China recognize that as an act of terrorism when they do stuff like that to their own people? Yeah. You think they're going to recognize that? You think they're going to show any signs of weakness by admitting the horrific act that took place? No. They're just going to say, cut it out, and here's the solution. Whatever Iran wants, we're going to go ahead and support that. Bust this, because see, they want it too. These folks, they want to get their hands on Taiwan. So why would they knock Iran? Huh? Why would they get upset with them? Let's continue.
This is the subject du jour of the delegation there from Washington. Chinese President Xi Jinping meeting with that delegation of U.S. senators in Beijing this morning. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer told Xi we understand that he was, quote, very disappointed by China's failure to condemn the attack from Hamas. Schumer is leading this delegation. It is 6 senators in China. This week, we're at China, South Korea, and Japan. Gordon, what can get done, and what do you make of Schumer's response?
Now, let me show you how the rest of the dang on world looks at us right now, especially China. Because, see, instead of sending creepy, sleepy, sleazy, slimy, sloppy Joe over there, we send Mr. Burns. That's who we send. Chuck Schumer. Let's see how they are using Chuck Schumer's visit as propaganda. Check this out.
It's to Xi that we're hearing.
Well, first of all, it's important to criticize China from Chinese soil. So I think kudos to Schumer for doing that. The problem with this trip is a fundamental one, and that is that China is putting itself on a war footing. It is preparing to go to war. The Senate should be in session passing critical legislation to get the United States ready to go to war. So these senators should be in Washington making sure that we can defend ourselves, our friends and allies. Nothing's going to get done on this trip. And by the way, I don't like the image.
No, wait a minute. Why is this man who knows about the Chinese able to see that and our leaders aren't? Why is it that this man knows you cannot negotiate with China because China already done smelled blood in the water? Y'all done already created a monster. So at this point, you need to start making adjustments to deal with the monster. Instead of sending Chuck Schumer over there to do nothing, you think Xi's going to say, okay, I get it. Thanks, Chuck, for getting me straight. They don't care nothing about you sending no dang on Chuck Schumer over there. And it's about to show in a few seconds. So this man is going, look, man, if you think China is our friend, you're sorely mistaken. See how we got to switch? We done switch directions because, see, we're getting hit from all other angles, too. And this is why this is a crucial moment in our history. We're not just getting tested in the Middle East when it comes down to Iran, Palestine, and all of that stuff. But we also got China lurking in the background, seeing how this all unfolds, testing us and seeing how far can we push this. Can we now take front and center on the global stage and become that country that everybody looks at and say, well, let's look to China and see what they got to say about it. Because it used to be the U.S. So now this guy's over here saying, man, instead of going over there wasting time with Xi, trying to appease him, trying to go ahead and say, all right, come on, Xi, man, listen. That guy, he ain't thinking about us. That man right there is licking his chops. So now look what they did when they sent out the picture of Chuck Schumer.
Image that China tweeted out of this, and that was Schumer in a half bow to Xi Jinping. That's the image the Chinese people are going to see. That's the image that much of the world is going to see.
I'm sorry, Gordon, what is it? What is the image specifically? You mean Schumer bowing to Xi Jinping?
Yeah, there's a still image, and you just saw a video portion of it.
Well, look at that. See, you take old hunchback Schumer, who's already in a perpendicular position. He came over there half bent over. Got the nerve to be, yeah. You think that looks like strength? You think we sent the right one, baby? China is going, look at this idiot right here. You sent this guy. You surely couldn't send Creepy over there. Watch what Creepy got to say about this.
Of Schumer in a half bow when he met Xi Jinping. I don't know what it is for Americans, but they just can't help but showing that they are supine when they meet the Chinese leader.
Yeah.
Could it be because they've probably been sucking money from China for all those years? Now they got to pretend to go ahead and step to cheat like they are really going to try to invoke some power when they've been capitalizing off of China all of these years? Could it be that? Could it be somewhere in that bow? He was like, now listen, don't mess up our little nest egg, right? Okay? We're still good, right, Chi? Unbelievable.
And this is just one more trip on top of 4 other trips that the administration has taken to Beijing to try to improve relations, I guess, Gordon. What is the point of all of this as the Communist Party keeps sending massive signals of aggression, whether it be the surveillance balloon or the bullying of our ships and planes, and yet we keep going back there.
Yeah, we keep going back there. For some reason, we're not catching the signs. We're not able to read it. We're not able to see that China's preparing for war. Forget all of the missiles and hypersonic stuff they got going, and they're increasing their navy, and they're building little islands all over the place, and they're trying to buy up land all over the country and in the United States and across the globe. Forget all of that. Forget the fact that they are partnering up with our enemies and making bold statements and doing stuff like, forget all that. They're still our friends. They still mean us well. We still should divest and, invest in China and send our jobs there. And we should still allow them to make all of our fundamental stuff that we would need to survive, just in case China, pulled the rug out from under us. We should still do that because we got dumb leaders. See, so we are in an abusive relationship with China. You know what? Send us your COVID virus and we'll still love you. Send us that big fat balloon and we'll still work it out somehow. Unreal. This man is about to keep it real as we close.
The administration has shown desperation to try to establish a communication channel with a regime that has no interest in sharing the planet with us, which in fact is had for decades, well, for years has been planning to go to war on America. Yeah. And with fentanyl has been killing Americans to, maybe 75,000 last year, according to preliminary CDC estimates.
Now, do you think China means us well? Do you think China is going to allow us to, if they find a way to keep us down, if they kick us and they say, oh, they failed, you think they're going to let us get back up? You think they would do to us what we did to China, which is allow them to get fat and powerful over all the years? You think they would let that happen? You think if we slipped into second place or third place, they would say, hey, all right, now let's pump the brakes on America. Let's let them get back on their feet. Or do you think they would step on the gas? I think they would. They've been waiting a long time for this, and they've been smooth about it. We're not at war with y'all. We're your friends. Keep sending us the business. Keep sending us all of that stuff. Keep ignoring us building up our military. Keep ignoring us expanding all across the globe. Keep doing that. We need you to still be asleep. We need America to be fat and sleep and overconfident and not realize that once we get on the wheels of steel, we're going to run right over y'all. Run right over us. We've been running the show for too long. Now, some people in other countries might say that ain't right. Well, guess what? I don't live in other countries. I live in the U.S. So I'd rather be in the country that is number one than a country that might have to take some abuse from another country. I hate to say. Now, I'm not saying we should abuse our power, but I am saying we never should let our enemies get the one up on us. And that's exactly what they're doing right now. And this man from China, who knows China better than Creepy Sleepy does, is telling it like it is.
So we think we're at peace, and that because of that, we can lose our country.
President Biden told reporters on Friday that he expected to meet with Chinese President Xi Jinping in San Francisco next month, Gordon. We don't know whether or not this meeting is up in the air or whether it is on, but here's the president on Friday. Watch this.
Let's see what Creepy got to say.
What are the prospects for a meeting between you and President Xi of China in San Francisco next month?
Now, don't he look confident? Don't he look like a man of authority? As he slowly closes that book. Look like it took him about 8 minutes just to close the book. Looks like he's looking down and he's just so weak. And he looks like an animal ready to be eaten. If he was in the wild right now, every animal would attack him. I'm talking docile animals, chipmunks, the hummingbirds. He would be attacked by everything in the dang on forest. That's how gentle and weak he looks right there. So let's see what Joe has to say about this meeting.
There is no such meeting set up, but it is a possibility.
There's no such meeting set up, but it is a possibility. Do you think it is? You think Xi's going to interrupt this schedule to meet with this bum? You think that she's going to come and sit there listening to Joe nodding off, might wake up and give you the sign of the cross. Who knows what Joe might do? So I'm even leery about that. In my mind, I'm like, don't even send Joe. Don't even send him. Forget that meeting. That would only encourage an enemy to take over the whole country. Dang on it.
There, Gordon, we just don't know. I mean, this is up to the Chinese, let's face it.
Yeah, and President Biden should have said, as long as the Chinese are killing Americans with fentanyl, as long as they are preparing to go to war on America, as long as they are stealing our intellectual property, as long as they're behind COVID, there will be no meeting with China. We will impose the most severe costs on China to protect our friends and allies, and we will get justice for the American people.
Wow. Now that right there, I like this guy. This guy right now, he needs to be meeting with Xi, representing the U.S. Before Trump gets back in, okay? See, because none of this would have ever happened if Trump was in power. If he was our president, none of this would have happened. All of these countries smelled blood in the water. They've observed Creepy Sleepy and his administration distracted by all kind of stupid stuff, identity politics, distracted by transgenderism, distracted by wokeness in our military, distracted by spreading the gospel of liberalism across the globe, all of that stuff. That's what they saw. And they said, it's either now or never. And they took a shot. Now, I don't have any idea how we're going to reverse this mess, but boy, we need to. Because if we don't reverse it, we are in trouble. And that guy just had the formula. We shouldn't even be talking to China. We shouldn't even be entertaining China right now. We should be withdrawing every bit of business that we have in China. Unbelievable. And Joe up the top, I don't know if we're going to have to.
That's what Biden should have said.
That is so spot on, Gordon. How does this war in the Middle East change things in your view? You talked at the beginning of our interview here about support, indirect support, but support nonetheless. So maybe it is direct support from China on Iran.
Yes, and it mirrors what China's been doing with Russia and Ukraine, where China is supporting the Russian war effort across the board. China, from the very beginning of that conflict, the Biden administration kept on saying, well, you can't provide lethal aid. Well, the Chinese provided lethal aid from the very beginning of that. Of
course they did. You think they cared about what Creepy said? He can't provide. Okay, don't worry, Joe. But don't forget about that $1.5 billion deal. Okay, Chief, do what you want.
That conflict and didn't do anything. And so, of course, the rest of the world sees the fecklessness and the feebleness of American policy. We are one of the weakest countries in the world right now. And the Chinese, the Russians, the Iranians, they all see it.
That was the punchline of my show. That man, he knows it, he sees it, and so do I. See, if I'm, as an American citizen, knows that we right now are sitting in a fishbowl looking vulnerable, looking like we are a wounded animal, this man knows it too. China knows it. Russia knows it. Iran knows it. Palestine knows it. All of our enemies know it. We are weak right now. And yet we got Joe Biden slowly closing his book. Talking about nothing planned right now. It's just we are in trouble.
We are seeing conflict not only in Ukraine, but across North Africa, where China and Russia are fielding insurgencies that look like war. We now have a war in the Middle East, which will spread. I think that we are in the beginning of an era of constant turbulence, which could be the beginning of a global conflict, because this is spreading very, very fast, Maria.
Very fast. And this goes back to bad policy. It feels
bad policy. And that's what we're going to close on tonight. This could have all been avoided if we had leaders that had good policy. So now that man just said, yeah, this is spreading very rapid. Do you understand how quickly this mess has escalated? How quickly we have fallen from grace? And not even 4 years. Creepy Sleepy hasn't even finished his first term. And we are already in trouble. We started off out the gates in trouble with the Afghanistan debacle. And it just unraveled from that point on. And record-breaking time. And now we got alliances being formed by our enemies. We got craziness going on in the Middle East. We got internal conflict within our own country. We got all of this crap going on. And God help us. I pray that God blesses Trump to be able to come back in and right the ship and give us more grace. Because I don't see any other candidate that has that mantle on him right now. Right now, like I said, I don't even think Trump knows it. But if we do get some grace, if we get an extension of grace, I think God would use Trump. And I'm not saying Trump is the savior before people, Trump's not that. I understand that. Only God is our savior. Only Christ is our savior. But my point is, I don't think Trump realizes that he's used by God. He was used by God this first 4 years. Because imagine what would have happened if Crooked would have got in. And then they played some games the second. And I'm praying that God gives us an extension and helps people wake up and realize that, God, we messed up. We allowed this bum to get in, and look at what happened in a short amount of time. Now, do you really think we can take 4 more years of that? Do you think China is going to ease up on us if Creepy gets back in?
Like our adversaries began to get on the march after that botched withdrawal from Afghanistan.
I would have.
Absolutely. That was a signal to Vladimir Putin that the United States policy was in collapse. You know, we have seen that not only with Russia, but also in Saudi Arabia, in Brazil, across the world. I haven't seen such a rapid failure of American policy and collapse of our standing in the world. And that is what is leading to one crisis after another. And the Biden administration needs to understand it needs to change policy. What? We had 4 years of peace with China, with Russia, with everybody else. And that was because we had a president who, in April 2017, when Xi Jinping was next to him in Mar-a-Lago, announced that we were bombing a Chinese proxy. Right. That was Syria. Yep. That gave us peace. Sure now we have the opposite of peace.
Ooh, I love this guy. You hear him keeping it 100% real, and I remember that too. With Xi right there next to Trump. You know I'm about to bomb this proxy of yours, right? What? Yeah, I'm about to bomb him. I'm just going to tell you right up front, I'm going to do that now, so don't even get mad about it. And they didn't do nothing. China was completely in check, man. They weren't doing nothing. All the sanctions, all the stuff that Trump put on them, they never whined about it. They never said, you know what? You can't talk to us from a position of power. They understood we held all of the chips. Mexico knew that. South America knew that. Canada knew that. Iran knew that. North Korea knew that. Russia knew that. And yet folks were up and down. Trump was the problem. He was going to destabilize the whole globe. Now, the question is, have people learned from their mistakes? Are they wise enough to see what has unraveled since then?
And you're talking about a breakdown in the United States' influence at a time that you're seeing China rising and continuing to show dominance across the world, even in this conflict here between Israel and the world against Hamas. You're seeing China call for a two-state solution.
Yes, and this is occurring at a time when China has internal problems which are almost unprecedented, ones we haven't seen in a decade, purges in the Chinese military, and yet China is exercising influence because of the strength of one individual, Xi Jinping. And
so their leader is strong. So even with all of the internal conflict, because Xi Jinping is a strong leader, whether he's good or bad, he's a strong leader. That's why he's able to complete all of this mess. And then we got a leader who could barely walk to Marine One, who can barely walk on the beach, who can barely walk across the stage, who gets lost constantly, who rambles on, who can't read a teleprompter, who forgets everything, lies constantly. We got a leader like that because the Democrats installed this man along with the deep state. And you would think if they knew he was weak, they would still have policies that would keep the country strong. But it sounds like they're just as weak and dumb as he is.
The United States, which is still the strongest nation in the world, appears to be one of the weakest because of the failure of someone sitting in the Oval Office.
That's right, Homer. Because of someone sitting in the Oval Office, even though we're strong, remember, perception becomes reality. Look at that. Look at this guy right there. Uh-huh. Yeah. What perception do you get looking at that guy? Do you think, even though China and all the rest of them understands that, they still got the military might and all of that, but do they have the will? Do they have the strategic thinking? Do they have the wisdom? Do they have the knowledge? Do they have all of that? The guts? See, but this guy right there, that's the image that the whole world sees. Now, I'm just thinking, If I was an enemy of the U.S., I would take the shot. So that's what we're getting right about now, y'all. Right now, the perception of America is that we are a wounded duck. We got horrible leadership. We done went woke. We done went soft. And now it looks like our enemies are trying to have their way with this. And God help us. Really, I don't know how this is all going to pan out, man. But I do say this. If I had a magic wand, I would remove this guy within like 35 seconds from now. And I would put Trump in. And hopefully the damage is not so bad, that it can't be reversed. But I cannot sit back and think that if we have to wait until next November to get, really January, to get a change, could you imagine the damage that could be done? The border, all of these folks coming in. I mean, the Middle East, all of that in record-breaking time. And so now a whole nother almost year of that. It'd be a miracle if we survive it. But hey, I believe in miracles. So with that being said, let's get ready to get out of here. Hold on, y'all. Oh, wait a minute. Check one, check two. I'm looking for a miracle. Expecting the impossible. Yeah. I feel the intangible. I see the invisible. That's right, man. The sky is the limit on what I can have. We need a miracle right now, man. We need a miracle. So that's what we're looking at. Thanks for hanging out with me tonight. Sorry if I tick some people off, but sometimes that happens, man. So, hopefully, the eagle will get our whoever will return. Right, you know what I'm saying? But I can't, that's the thing. I don't even spare, when I used to talk about other stuff before I started doing this, one thing about me, I try not to even spare my own feelings, my own self, Yeah, I'm not a guy there to say, you know what? I'm guilty of that too. So if I don't spare me, I'm not going to spare anybody else. If I got to say, yeah, Kev, that wasn't right, I'm definitely going to call out other people and other stuff that ain't right, So if anybody, I'd be going, well, that's okay if Kev did it. But even if it's me, like I said, I'm not even okay with America doing something like what we witnessed. Just because we the U.S. don't mean that we get the right to go in and just kill innocent citizens. That ain't the route to go. So God bless y'all. Thanks for hanging out with me. Like I said, what's tomorrow? Thursday? I should be back. Oh yeah, I'm about to touch on some other stuff. Somebody said, you're the best, Kev. Thank you for faithfulness. Thank you guys for being faithful to my show, hanging out with me, supporting what I do. Because God knows it's an uphill battle. Not only all of this crap that's going on around the country, but then on top of that, we got our own government and all of these powerful companies trying to suppress people like myself and others who will expose this. So I'm relying on y'all support in multiple ways, watching, sharing, liking, all of that. And don't forget, if you want to hit a last minute buzzer beater, please do so with my monthly fundraiser, because it's going to reset. Then y'all going to have to do it all over again. Yeah. The fun never ceases with us. So, yep. Tomorrow I think is the last day, so if you guys want to support my channel, feel free. The link is right below. Don't forget, these are all converted into podcast, and you can listen to them however you want, and subscribe to my alternative channel over there. And I think that might be it. So let's get out of here as we look at Creepy's face disappear on my screen. Get him out of here. Oh, and text MAGA to 330-974-4607 so that this way I can keep you in the loop just in case YouTube try to unexist me. Can't deny me. Why would you want to? You need me. I know you see the way we tear up the place, yeah. See y'all next time in Kevin's Corner. Take care.